I'm so happy to announce my new album, Happy Together. When my orchestra and I were finally able to get together again.
Another wave of heartbreak has swept through Hollywood as the world learns devastating news from André Rieu's own family. His son, clearly emotional, has broken his silence and revealed what fans feared the most. For more than 50 years, André, lovingly known as the King of the Waltz, has mesmerized audiences across the globe with his spellbinding music and charismatic presence. But after a series of cancelled concerts, concern began to grow. Whispers about his health spread rapidly, though no confirmation came, until now. With visible pain in his eyes, André's son confirmed the heartbreaking truth. What serious health struggle is André Rieu quietly enduring? Could this be the final chapter of a legendary musical journey? Stay with us as we reveal the emotional story behind André's diagnosis and the moving message from his son. For decades, André Rieu has left his audience awestruck with his grand performances and boundless passion for music. As the driving force of the Johann Strauss Orchestra, his concerts are pure magic, uniting generations through a timeless sound. But beyond the applause and lights, the Dutch violinist has faced daunting health battles, ones that nearly brought his career to a standstill. In 2010, Rieu proudly shared he'd never taken a single sick day. He even claimed to be immune to jet lag, an incredible feat for someone constantly leaping between continents. But all of that changed one night during a quiet vacation in Belgium. At 3 a.m., he was suddenly jolted awake by a terrifying sensation of spinning. He described the moment as if the entire room was turning wildly around him. Disoriented and alarmed, he struggled to make sense of it. By morning, he felt completely shattered. In the days before, Rieu had pushed himself relentlessly, wrapping up a DVD project, diving into intense Spanish lessons for an upcoming tour in Mexico, and enduring brutal heat. He later reflected that he operated only in 2 gears, full throttle or a complete halt. He had long believed that joy and a strong mindset could protect him from illness. But this terrifying experience shattered that belief. Doctors diagnosed him with a vestibular nerve infection, a condition that disturbs the inner ear and disrupts the body's balance. Triggered even by something as common as a cold, it left him dizzy and nauseous whenever he stood up. Though he tried to brush it off at first, the severity of the condition became impossible to ignore. He was ultimately forced to cancel entire tours in both Australia and the UK. Taking 6 months off was unthinkable, not just because of his love for performing, but also because he bore financial responsibility for a massive team. To rule out anything more serious, like a brain tumor, he even underwent a brain scan. Thankfully, doctors found no additional issues. Still, Rieu was determined to heal and return to the stage. He explored all options, even listening to his fans. One dedicated supporter from Australia sent him a letter recommending balance exercises, and Rieu practiced them with dedication, clinging to hope for recovery. These exercises, walking in figure eights, coordinated eye movements, and balancing on one leg with closed eyes, might seem simple, but for André Rieu, they were life-changing. He later said they worked wonders. Within 3 months, he was on the mend, feeling stronger and more balanced than before. But the journey did more than heal his body, it changed the course of his life. During recovery, André took a hard look at his schedule and realized just how much energy he was giving away to things that had nothing to do with his true love, music. Tasks like administrative duties, business events, and academic lectures were silently draining him. So, he made a bold move. He wrote 2 lists. One for what brought him joy, and one for what didn't. The list of things he loved was short and all about music. The second list was long. And just like that, he decided to cut the stress out of his life. From that moment on, he vowed to build a life centered around joy, passion, and his own well-being. Medical experts say vestibular neuritis usually clears up in a matter of weeks, but there's always a chance it can return. André knew this. He understood that stress could be a dangerous trigger, and he wasn't willing to risk it again. Determined to protect both his health and his happiness, he focused only on what truly mattered. Now, years later, that fragile balance is under threat again. A chilling update from his son has left fans devastated. André is facing yet another serious health scare. The past may be repeating itself, and this time, it might be worse. Could it be another relapse? Or something more severe? What illness is haunting the beloved maestro now? Everything had been planned down to perfection. After 6 long years, André Rieu and his orchestra were finally back in Mexico. Fans were overjoyed. Every ticket was sold, and the energy in Mexico City was electric. The first 2 concerts were a dream, until the dream suddenly collapsed. Less than 24 hours after the second show, the worst-case scenario unfolded. André fell gravely ill. What fans had feared most was now a painful reality. He had contracted a powerful strain of the flu. High fever, complete exhaustion, It hit him fast and hard. The tour couldn't continue. The remaining concerts had to be cancelled. Later, his son Pierre Rieu came forward and revealed the full truth. He explained that the long-haul flight, intense jet lag, and the high altitude of Mexico City had already taken a toll. André had just one day to recover before stepping on stage, and it simply wasn't enough. The pressure of it all overwhelmed his body. What started as simple fatigue quickly turned into something frightening. Pierre admitted the choice to cancel wasn't easy. But when André's health took a sharp turn, the team had no time to hesitate. They rushed to fly him back home. For fans, it was a heartbreaking blow. Some had waited years just to see him live, and every concert detail had been carefully planned. But the disappointment wasn't just felt in the crowd. The entire team was devastated. Pierre said the mood backstage was heavy with sadness, but health had to come first. That lingering fear, the fear that something might go terribly wrong, had always been there. Now, that fear had become a painful reality. André remained severely ill for days. He could barely move. It was a dark, uncertain time. Eventually, André began to feel a little better, but it took nearly a week before he was truly himself again. "Yeah, I think it's possible to have fun in classical music," he once said lightheartedly. But beneath the smile, the scare was real, and it changed everything. Pierre admitted that if they ever returned to Mexico, it wouldn't be before 2025. The experience had taught them a hard lesson: more rest, smarter planning, and fewer risks. But what made this episode even more serious was André's age. At 74, long flights and quick turnarounds hit harder than before. Pierre didn't sugarcoat it. Traveling across the world just isn't what it used to be. He joked about fans comparing André to younger artists or athletes, but reminded them, his father isn't 30 anymore. The human body has limits, and pushing past them comes with consequences. After that second concert in Mexico, André had been smiling backstage, soaking in the love from his audience. But he had quietly confessed to his wife, "I don't know if I can do this again." His body had been sending warnings, and this time, the message was loud and clear. The reality couldn't be ignored anymore. If André wanted to keep playing music, he had to start listening to his body. Rest had to be part of the journey. Slowing down was no longer optional. But the pressure wasn't just on André. The conditions in Mexico had begun to strain the whole team. Could the high altitude and intense schedule be too much for everyone? It seemed so. Performing at over 2,000 meters above sea level was a challenge in itself. There's simply less oxygen up there, and the impact was noticeable. Dorona Alberti, one of Rio's lead singers, said she felt it every day during rehearsals. Her face flushed red. Nosebleeds became common. She joked about it, trying to stay upbeat. But the reality hit hard. Even during her song I Will Survive, she had to stop and drink water just to push through. And yet, despite the difficulties, the team gave it their all, until the decision was made to stop. Pierre Rieu said it best. He was proud of his father for knowing when to say, enough. Cancelling shows is never easy, but collapsing on stage would have been far worse. And it wasn't just André or the crew who felt the impact. Around 40,000 fans were heartbroken. A team of 125 people had to pack up early and return home. The sudden change caused chaos, ticket refunds, cancelled flights, and lost sales. Worse still, there was no insurance coverage for this kind of disruption. Emma Koch, another performer, said it was surreal. One night, she was singing for 10,000 people. The next morning, the tour was over. Even walking the streets, fans still asked for selfies, many unaware it might be their last chance to see André perform live in Mexico. The energy at those shows had been electric. Outside the venue, a makeshift marketplace had sprung up filled with unofficial André Rieu merchandise, mugs, teddy bears, t-shirts. Rio had laughed about it then. During the encores, the crowd chanted his name, refusing to leave until he played again. There had been no warning. And then, everything stopped. Back home in Maastricht, André focused on recovery. Pierre mentioned that they were hopeful for the upcoming Liverpool concert. But deep down, everyone wondered, had Mexico just witnessed the final Rieu performance on its soil? André had once said, "I just want to stay healthy so I can keep doing this." Those words, once casual, now felt like a quiet premonition. Unfortunately, this wasn't the first time stress had shaken the team. André had long known that overwork could damage his health. He had once vowed to focus only on what he loved, music, and for a time, he kept that promise. But this latest scare had reopened old wounds and brought painful memories flooding back. Back in 2016, the world watched anxiously when André cancelled several tour dates. Rumors flew. Fans feared the worst, that his health had failed again. Given his medical history, the worry seemed valid. But the truth was different. It wasn't André's health at all. One of his cherished orchestra members had passed away. The emotional weight of that loss had been too much for him to bear. He needed time to grieve. Still, even after the truth emerged, the false rumors had already taken hold. Now, almost a decade after his own major health crisis, and years after that sorrowful 2016 event, something eerily similar has happened again. Just earlier today, devastating news struck once more. André Rieu's sold-out live concert at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham had been postponed. The reason? One of the orchestra members had suffered a heart attack that morning. In a statement released by his production company, it was revealed that André was heartbroken over the emergency and deeply saddened to cancel the show. The musician who fell ill remains in critical condition in the hospital, and fans have been asked to be patient and understanding during this difficult time. A new date for the show will be announced once the situation stabilizes. Though this cancellation wasn't due to André Rieu's own health, fans couldn't help but worry. Given his history, some began to wonder if the emotional weight of such a shocking event could trigger another health issue for the world-renowned maestro. After all, the Johann Strauss Orchestra isn't just a group of musicians to Rieu, it's his family on the road. For longtime fans, this moment is especially haunting. Many recall how quickly concern turned to panic during the 2016 tour, and they can't help but fear the same outcome now. With a string of health scares behind him, André has made a decision that comes from deep reflection. What decision has he made? André Rieu slows the tempo. After just 2 performances in Mexico, André was forced to cancel the rest of his concerts and fly back home to Maastricht due to a sudden illness. It was a hard decision, one that led him to realize he might need to slow down. Though he isn't ready to completely stop, André admitted that he wished he could continue performing at full speed, even into his later years. But this time, it became too much. Returning to his home, where he lives with his wife Marjorie, it quickly became clear that making up for those cancelled concerts was no longer an option. André doesn't often talk about his struggles. It's usually his son, Pierre, who steps in as the spokesperson. Pierre shared that several factors contributed to his father's health setback. First, the National Auditorium, where André performed, is located 2.5 kilometers above sea level, a location that took a serious toll on his body. On top of that, André contracted a severe flu, which only made everything more challenging. Despite his dedication to maintaining good health through regular exercise, tennis, jogging, and eating healthy, André had to face the harsh reality of aging. He's always been proud of his stamina, but this time, he simply couldn't keep up. His legs were shaking, and the fear of collapsing on stage was too real to ignore. That fear prompted the decision to cancel the tour, a rare move for André. Pierre pointed out that his father had performed through illness many times before, even when running a fever. But this situation was different. This time, it was simply too much. Though André is now fully recovered, the illness led to the cancellation of 4 concerts, leaving tens of thousands of fans disappointed. Ticket holders will receive refunds, but no new dates are currently planned. André reportedly told his team that he didn't want to endure that kind of hardship again. Long flights and drastic time changes are simply too draining. While concerts in Chile, Argentina, and Colombia are still on the calendar for later this year, the team is being more cautious about which trips are worth the risk. They've decided to take things 1 year at a time. For those who may be far away, there's still good news. Fans from around the world are still welcome to visit Maastricht, where André hosts his iconic summer concerts at Friedhof Square. Many fans consider these concerts the best atmosphere of all his performances. André admitted that it's hard to imagine giving up touring the world, especially given his passion for music. During his illness, he realized just how much he needed his work. Not being able to perform left him feeling restless and, as he put it, staying at home made him feel even crazier. To protect his health moving forward, André and his team have decided to scale back on non-essential activities, fewer interviews, press events, and presentations, keeping his focus on what truly matters, the music. He explained that when his schedule becomes too packed, one of his balance organs starts acting up. This leads to the room spinning and makes it impossible for him to continue performing. It's been an ongoing issue for the past 20 years, and unfortunately, it hasn't disappeared. However, André Rieu remains hopeful. By being more mindful of his time and energy, he hopes to continue doing what he loves for as long as possible. But now, perhaps at a slower pace, focusing on the things that truly matter. So, what does André value most? The things that matter. In an interview from his castle in Maastricht, André Rieu revealed that he still had too much left to experience in life to settle for a quiet existence. When speaking with The Standard, Rieu mentioned that he and his family take a modest 3-day break in Rome each year. But beyond that, his entire schedule revolves around his passion, music. He never took a prolonged break or considered retiring. It's not just one orchestra. It's my orchestra, and I built it. "It's my life's work," he said. That, he emphasized, would never change. The interview continued with Rieu joking that he was only halfway through his life, referencing his grand ambition to live until 140 years old. Despite his age, his mind remained overflowing with ideas for future tours. He was already brainstorming ways to outdo his current tour. However, the reality of needing to slow down had already hit him. Even though his passion for performance was undiminished, André admitted that he struggled with sleep after concerts, something that posed a significant risk to his health. He also shared memories of the tough moments during the COVID lockdown, which he described as pure torture. During those restless nights, he found solace in an unexpected hobby: baking. In an attempt to distract himself, André began watching baking tutorials on his iPhone. It became a favorite pastime of his, with photos of his culinary creations frequently making their way to social media. This hobby even led to a guest appearance on the Dutch version of the Great British Bake Off, known as Heel Holland Bakt. While some fans joked about him making a career switch to baking, André was quick to dismiss those ideas, reminding everyone that his heart would always belong to music. In the end, this unyielding love for music has driven André Rieu to continue performing and evolving as an artist, regardless of the obstacles he's faced or might face moving forward. "I only play the music that touches my heart." What's next for André Rieu? What is André Rieu's current health status? Could this be the end of his far-flung performances in places like Australia or other countries far from Maastricht? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. And don't forget to click the next video showing on your screen. You won't want to miss it.